everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm doing a video on a monthly spread in my planner. And here I have just the standard sized happy planner, and it's great because you can pull these pages off and work on them separate from the planner. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down my craft mat because I'm going to be using some water and some gelatos. And I'm going to go ahead and prep these pages with some clear gesso. I'm using a Dina Wakley clear gesso. This is a pretty smooth gesso. I don't want to mess up any of my pens or anything like that when I come back and use this planner. So I tried using sticker sheets, things like that in my planner, and that's just not my style. So I thought, why not start painting and multimedia type stuff in my planners? So I had a lot of people ask how I did it, and a lot of people asking how to use gelatos. So I thought I'd do a video kind of addressing both those things. So I just used a card to just apply a thin layer of the gesso, and I do go ahead and apply 2 layers of that and dry in between the layers. This sheet on this side that I'm doing now is a heavier cardstock. The other sheet for the other half of the calendar is just a regular piece of paper, but I do apply gesso 2 coats to both of those pages. And I've gone ahead and done that. So now I'm going to be showing you how to do the smushing technique with gelatos. And so I have some colors picked out here. I'll have them linked down below. And I'm going to do this technique here where I'm going to scribble the color, this is peach, onto my acrylic block, add a little bit of water to activate that pigment, and then I'll just go ahead and press that down on the page. Now, I go ahead and change this up in a few minutes how I apply the color. I start putting it just on the craft mat instead of on the block. You can do it either way. And then I'm just going to go ahead and smush that down onto the page. Now, because I've applied gesso, the gelatos kind of bead and pool and things like that, but that's okay. I'm just looking for a messy kind of splash watercolor effect on the page. So I'm just going to continue to add color. I think I've moved on to Guava now. So I'm just using some peaches and some pinks, and then I'll come in with some mint colors in a minute here. And I'm drying in between each color. I want a little bit of mixing from the colors, but I do want you to still be able to see just layers of color on the page. So here you can see I've switched up my technique. So I went ahead and smushed off some of that gelato onto my craft sheet, and I'm adding some water and blending it until there's no more flakes or chunks of pigment. So it's just a nice smooth paint. And then I'll use my block to pick up that color and do the same thing, just smush it onto the page. And don't waste any of your color. You can see I had some on my fingers and I just flicked it onto the page before wiping off my finger. That way I'm not wasting any of the gelato. And so I'm trying to keep it heavier concentration of color on the bottom left-hand corner and then spraying up towards the rest of the page. And then on the other page, I'll do a heavier concentration in the top right-hand corner, spraying down at a diagonal to the left, which you'll see. So now I'm just going in and really intensifying the color down in that corner there. So I've sprayed water onto the page and I'm just kind of dropping in gelato, using this very similar to how I would use watercolors. So the great thing about gelatos, when they're dry, they are completely permanent. So I don't have to worry about them transferring onto anything once they're dry. So then I can just go about my life using my planner and don't have to worry about that color shifting or moving or transferring or anything like that. So now I'm picking up this color here. This is Metallic Melon. This is a really pretty coral shade, but also has a little silver shimmer to it. And I'm going to go ahead and add this on there as well. And this is just really going to intensify the color on the page. You could very easily do the same technique with inks, like the distress inks or any kind of dye ink like that. You definitely could do it with watercolors. I've even done it with Inktense pencils and things like that. So, but I have had a lot of requests for more videos using my gelatos, and I don't use them that often. So I'm trying to push myself to pull them out and use them in some new ways. So again, you can see I'm just kind of dropping in more color, spraying the page, letting things kind of run together, and just real messy look. This is great because you don't have to be perfect or anything like that. So I've gone ahead and dried it, and now I'm going to add in some greens. This March spread already has some greens printed on the page, so I wanted to pull those colors into the paint. So I think I'm using Aqua Dolce and Metallic Mint. And for this, I'm just going to kind of splatter the color on there rather than smushing it. So there's just little flecks of green. Since there's already green in the background, I didn't want too much more green. And using my fingers, using a paintbrush. This is messy, and that's why I have the craft mat down underneath, so it protects my work surface, and it's non-stick, so it's really easy to clean up. So here you can see I've gone ahead and done the same technique to both pages. And now I'm taking a die cut to use on this page. I believe I got these from Hobby Lobby, and they were in a pack over by where their planner supplies and project life supplies and things like that. I don't remember the name of it. If I can find it, I'll put it in the description bar down below. But I'm just using some dry adhesive, and I'm going to attach that to my page. Now, Sundays, typically we go to church, and that's really it. I don't plan anything else on Sundays, so I'm okay with covering up that day on my planner. You definitely could use something that's smaller and kind of sticks more into that lined margin and doesn't interfere with the calendar days, but I wasn't too worried about that since I don't usually do anything else on Sundays. I went ahead and stuck it down and then just trimmed off any that hung over the edge. And now I have that fun piece with those same corals and green colors added in. Now these little gold foiled triangles I think came from the same set or a similar set, but I can't quite remember. They may have been in a Project Life box. But I'm just going to go ahead and add these in. And I've gone ahead and looked ahead to the month and seen days that I have less things going, like on Saturdays and kind of towards the end of the week there, so I'm not afraid to cover up some of those blocks. And here I have a fine line bottle, and I've put some Ranger Multimedia Matte glue into it. And I'll link that down below. This is a great glue because if you get messy with it, it dries matte, so you can't really see it. But it's a really strong adhesive. These are a little bit chunkier of a element, so I wanted to use a good glue to adhere them down. And I'm just setting an acrylic block down on there to hold them down while that glue dries, and it dries pretty quickly. And that's it. I went ahead and used some gray ink to stamp in some elements on the page and kind of fill in some of my month. And I can just go ahead and slip that back into my planner, and that's it. It's done. I can go ahead and use it for the month. So if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them down in the comments down below. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe so you can be notified of any videos that I have coming up. I also have a giveaway going on my channel currently, and that will be linked in the top right-hand corner. Be sure to go ahead and enter the giveaway. And until next time, thank you so much. Goodbye.